I need you to understand something. And I mean really understand it. Not just nod your head like you get it, then go back doing the same thing tomorrow. Last week, I had a conversation with a founder and he's sitting there telling me that his pipeline is drying up. His exact words, I'm posting 3 times a day. I'm doing all the right things. Why aren't people buying? I asked him one question, and he couldn't answer it. Now, before I tell you what that question was, I want you to think about your business. How many times have you posted valuable content this week? How many free audits have you given? How many frameworks have you released into the void? And how many of those people actually bought? Exactly. Here's the thing that nobody in the creator economy wants to tell you. The value first model is a trap. It's a cage disguised as generosity. You know what it really is? It's you begging. It's you saying, please look at me. I know things. Please give me attention. Maybe if I give you enough free stuff, you'll eventually pay me. You're running a business, not a charity. And somewhere along the way, probably because some guru on the internet told you, you decided that giving things away was the path to wealth. Let me show you what you're really doing. I want you to think about psychology of a high ticket buyer. Because if you're targeting enterprise founders, if you're trying to close $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 deals, you need to understand how their brain actually works. Not how you wish it worked, how it actually works. An enterprise founder is drowning. They have payroll every week, client who need attention, a team that needs direction, and thousand other things that I don't have time to list. They don't have the time to watch a 30-minute value video. They don't have the time to read your free framework. They don't have the time to take your free audit and do the work themselves. Because if they had time to do it themselves, they wouldn't need you. That's the part everyone misses. They don't want your knowledge, they want your results. Let me give you an example. When I was building my first agency, and by building I mean fighting tooth and nail for every single client, I used to do free consultations. I'd give 2 hours of my time. I'd tell them everything they need to do. I'd leave feeling great. I helped someone today. And then they'd go do it themselves. Or more accurately, they try to do it themselves, fail, get confused, and then go find someone else who'd give them more free advice. I trained them to wait for free. I trained them to say, I can get this for free somewhere else. I trained them that my knowledge had no price. That's what value content does. It trains buyers to be tire kickers. It trains them to wait for discounts. It trains them to see you as a resource, not as the solution. Let's talk about what changed. This is the part that makes people uncomfortable. The part that makes them go, I don't know, man. That feels aggressive. Good, it should feel aggressive because you've been doing the passive thing for years, and look where that got you. I stopped giving away the solution. I started giving away the problem. I started giving away the diagnosis. I started making them feel the pain of not having the answer. And here's what happened. People started coming to me not because I was nice, not because I gave them free stuff, but because they felt stuck. They felt stupid. They felt like they were missing something that everyone else had. And I let them sit in that feeling. I didn't rescue them. I didn't rush to give them the answer. I made them hungry. You know what real diamond looks like? It's not someone commenting great content on your post. It's not someone who likes your stuff. It's not someone who watches your entire video. It's someone who says, I need this. Tell me how much, I'll pay. That's demand. That's the only metric that matters. And you don't build demand by giving away free stuff. You build demand by making people feel like they're losing money by not having what you have. That's the system. That's the architecture. And nobody is teaching it because it requires spine. Let me show you what I mean. Because saying stop giving free stuff is one thing. Actually building the system is another. Here's what I replaced value content with. The forensic pipeline audit. Now, you're gonna hear that and think, oh, it's just another audit. No, it's not. Most audits are, here's what you're doing wrong. Here's what you should do instead. Here's the list of things to fix. Good luck implementing it yourself. That's just free consulting with extra step. That's you still giving away your expertise. That's you still training them to be tire kickers. The forensic pipeline audit I'm talking about, it's not report, it's a conversation. It's me looking at their current operation and finding one thing, one specific thing that is destroying their revenue, and then I make them feel it. I make them feel the urgency of that one thing. I make them feel the cost of continuing to ignore it. And then I stop. I don't give them the solution, I don't give them the fix, I give them the diagnosis and I let them sit with it. You know what happens next? They DM me, Vishal, I can't stop thinking about what you said. We need to talk. How do we fix this? They've already decided to buy. The price doesn't matter anymore. The pain is too loud to ignore. That's the system, that's the architecture. That's what actually fills a pipeline with high intent buyers who aren't going to haggle, aren't going to ask for discounts, and aren't going to waste your time. Now, let's talk about the opposite. Let's talk about what you're probably doing. Because if you're like most founders I talk to, most founders who are doing all the right things and still not getting results, you're making three specific mistakes, and I'm gonna walk through them right now. Mistake 1, I need to build trust first. Who told you that? Who told you that you need to build trust before someone can buy from you? I guarantee you've never said this to a doctor. You go to the doctor, someone you've never met, and they say, you have a cancer, we need to operate tomorrow. And you say, okay, how much? You don't ask for a free consultation, you don't ask for a discount, you don't say, I need to build trust first. You say, fix it. Because the doctor didn't need trust, the doctor made the problem more urgent than your uncertainty. You build trust by demonstrating that you see the problem clearly. Because a founder doesn't trust someone who gives them generic advice. They trust someone who looks at their solution and says, I see exactly where you're leaking money. That's authority. That's conviction. That's the opposite of value content. Value content says, here's the general thing that might help you. The forensic pipeline says, here's your specific problem and I can prove it to you in 5 minutes. Which one build more trust? Which one create more urgency? You already know the answer. Mistake 2, I need to be nice. This one hurts to watch. Founders who are too nice to close, who think that being assertive means being aggressive, who think that if they push too hard, they'll scare people away. That's what you need to understand. High-ticket founders don't want nice, they want competent. They want someone who will tell them the truth, even if it hurts because their business is on the line. Think about who you want to hire. Do you want the person who says, you're doing great, just keep doing, I believe in you? Or do you want the person who says, you're bleeding out, here's the wound, we need to fix it right now or you're going to lose your company? You want the second one because you already have enough people telling you you're doing great. You have employees who don't want to tell you the truth. You have spouse who wants to protect your feelings. You have friends who don't understand what you're going through. You need someone who will look at you in the eye and tell you exactly where you're falling. And you'll pay for that because that person is rare. Nice is common, competent is rare. I'm not gonna hurt your feelings, is common. I'm gonna tell you the truth and you might hate me for it, is rare. Be rare. Mistake 3, I need to be everywhere. Okay, this one. How many platforms are you on? How many types of contents are you creating? How many strategies are you running simultaneously? You're on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. You're doing reels, carousel, long form, short form, blogs, newsletters. You're trying to dominate the algorithm on 3 different platforms. And how's that going? Exactly. Here's what nobody tells you. One channel done right can fill your entire pipeline. Not because the channel has lot of people, because the channel has the right people. And because you're running the right system on that channel. You don't need to be everywhere. You need to be somewhere with a system that filters out 99% of people and attracts the 1% that actually buy. That's the secret nobody talks about. The system is more important than the platform. The architecture is more important than the tactic. If you're on a right system, it doesn't matter if you're on LinkedIn, YouTube or Twitter. The system works. If you don't have the system, you could be on every platform in the world and you'll still be broke. The founder I mentioned at the beginning, the one posting 3 times a day, he was everywhere. LinkedIn, YouTube, X, podcast, guest posts, and his pipeline was empty because he was applying a content creation strategy to a pipeline building problem. Let me tell you what I mean by system because I keep using that word. And if you're not careful, you'll hear system and think I'm talking about posting schedule or content calendar. No, I'm talking about a system that attracts the right people, filters out the wrong people, makes the right people feel the urgency of their problem, compels them to take action without being asked, create a conversation where the outcome is already decided. That's the pipeline. content. That's the architecture. And you can have this system on one platform with one type of content. Here's what it looks like. Instead of valuable content that everyone consumes for free, you put up a toll gate, something that requires a tiny investment of time, attention, or money. That investment filters out tire kickers, because tire kickers won't pay $100 to learn about their problem. They'll watch a YouTube video for free. But high ticket founders, they'll pay $100 to feel the urgency, because they know that $100 is nothing compared to $50,000 they are losing every single month. That's the system, that's the architecture. And if you're not running this system, you're running on the other system, the free content system, the hope someone buys eventually system, the I'm building trust system, and we both know how that system ends. I want to leave you with something. The founder I was talking to, the one with the empty pipeline, I told him something at the end of our call. I said, you're running a system that was designed for a different business, a business that sells low ticket products to retail customers. And you're trying to apply it to a business that sells high ticket services to enterprise founders. He sat there for a long time. Then he said, what do I do? I said, find the architecture that works for the business you actually have. He didn't hire me, but he's going to, because he knows that the answer is in that conversation. And he also knows that he doesn't have the system to build it himself. That's where you are. You're watching this and you feel the same pull, the same uncomfortable feeling, there's something I'm missing. And you're right, there's something you're missing, and you've been missing it for a long time. Now you can ignore this. You can go back to value content. You can keep posting 3 times a day and hoping something changes. Or you can see the architecture for what it is and you can DM me. But only if you're actually ready. Because I'm not going to help you if you're not ready. I'm not going to waste my time on someone who's still attached to their value content. I'm not going to argue with someone who thinks I'm too aggressive.